Hi everybody. I'm still kind of sound like a frog. Just getting over a really bad sore throat and a cold. And I'm finally getting to where I can talk. So if I sound a little scratchy, I apologize, but not much I can do about it. So what I want to talk to you about is GdyUpGal. And I'll put her name in the description below. Has challenged me to talk about what's on my bucket list. But you know, it's a list of things that you want to do before you croak. So anyway, I'm not going to talk too long because I'll lose my voice. Excuse me. But the first thing that I would really like to do, and this is something that could be more practically accomplished, I guess you could say, because it is a possibility to do this. But I have a list of YouTubers that I think you guys are also awesome, and I would love to meet you in person and maybe do some collaborations with you guys one day. So that's what I'd like to do, is meet some of the YouTubers that I've become acquainted with and consider friends, even though we've never actually met in person. But that would be number one on my list, because that's something that is a possibility that I could accomplish. My second one is I'm extremely interested in archaeology, and I read the archaeology magazines and I read the articles and kind of keep up with all the new finds and stuff, because I just think it's absolutely fascinating. So my next place, my number two, would be to go to Nanmadol. It's Nanmadol in the Solomon Islands. It's an archaeological site that's adjacent to the eastern shore of the island of Pohnpei. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's Pohnpei, Pohnpei, located in the Federated States of Micronesia. So it's kind of out in the middle of nothing in the ocean. I think I kind of tend to like those places out in the middle of nowhere. But Nanmadol was the capital of an ancient peoples. They were called the Sadalur. I'm killing these words. Sadalur dynasty until about 1628, which amazes me because the ruins they appear to obviously be well older than 1628 is fairly recent in archaeology, and but that's what they said. The city is constructed in a lagoon consisting of a series of man-made islands linked by a network of canals. There's about 100 artificial islands that are stone and coral fill platforms. So basically they're not like real islands, but they're just like little islets, and they're just little squares. And they're made out of coral and whatever they could find to sink, but they actually made them. They sank them, and they're just little square islands, and there's like a ton of them. And a lot of them there's 100 of them, and a lot of them are under the ocean because the ocean is rising, and they may disappear altogether. So I sure wish I could go see them before they are completely gone, which is not likely that I'll make it, but sure, that's one place on my bucket list. I'd love to go there. Its original name was Sun Nang Len, or that means the Reef of Heaven. And it really is a beautiful area from all the pictures I've seen. Archaeologists think that it was started building in the 8th or 9th century, but the megalithic structures is hard to get an exact date. So this is kind of just a guess. So they don't really know, but to me it would appear a lot older, but I'm not a qualified archaeologist. So Only the kings and the royalty from the Sonalur dynasty lived on these tiny islands. The most of the common population lived on the main island. The tombs of the royalty are on these tiny islands. There's several tombs, and the people on Solomon Islands are very superstitious, and they believe the islands are cursed, and if you open one of the tombs, that you will die. And there was a gentleman from Britain, he was an archaeologist that went there in the 1800s, and he actually opened one of the tombs of the kings, and he died the very next morning from a really high fever. I mean, you're in malaria country down there, and you know, all kinds of things. So I mean, it could have been a coincidence, but the islanders think that he died from the curse. Excuse me. The high walls that surround the tombs are 18 to 25 feet high, and they're 4 to 5. The walls are 4 to 5 feet thick. Can't even talk today. And the islanders claim that the royalty that lived on these islands were giants. And there was no fresh water or food on the tiny islands. It all had to be brought over from the mainland in the canals on boats. And all of the buildings were constructed from large basalt stones, which is hardened volcanic rock taken from a volcanic plug on the opposite side of the main island. Scientists are baffled as to how these huge megalithic stones got from the far end of the island over to these islands that these people made. I mean, just the construction of just making those islands like that was phenomenal. And then they had these huge, pieces of stone that they brought over, all this basalt, and it's just, you can't even fathom how it could have been done. It would be hard pressed for our modern equipment to do such a thing, let alone during, 8th and 9th century, or maybe even earlier. So that's a mystery. The inhabitants of the Solomon Islands, I told you they claim the islands are haunted. None of the inhabitants of the island live there or will stay there. They won't even go there. It's almost impossible to even get a guide to take you there. It's because they are so superstitious about it, and they believe it's cursed. So that's one place I want to go. That was my number 2. And here's a couple of pictures to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. The third place that I really would like to go is the Inca ruins in Peru, the Machu Picchu. And it's an Incan citadel set high in the Andes Mountains in Peru. And it's estimated that it was built in the 14th century, although that's disputed. Some people think it was earlier. And it was later abandoned. It's renowned for its sophisticated dry stone walls that fuse huge blocks without the use of mortar, intriguing buildings that play on astronomical alignments, and panoramic great views. I can't say that word. Panoramic, that's it. Okay. Its exact former use by the Inca Indians, or if you want to call them Indian, the Inca tribes, remains a mystery to this day. They never figured out because of all the astronomical alignments with some of the buildings, and they've got windows that are aligned for a certain time of year, and the place is just, I just want to go see it. There again, not likely, but it is on my bucket list. Never say never, because the impossible does happen. For example, on my bucket list, I wanted to meet Luciano Pavarotti, because I like opera. I'm one of those crazy people. But I do like opera, and Luciano Pavarotti has always been my very favorite tenor. And I did get to meet him thanks to my late fiance for a birthday present. I had no idea. Luciano Pavarotti was in Las Vegas doing a show. It was on his farewell tour because he was retiring, or, quitting singing. And my late fiance had bought tickets for my birthday. He took me out to dinner, and it was a surprise. And we were always going to a show of some sort, because in Vegas, you can go to a show every night if you want. And so we went there, and we walked in, and we sat down, and Luciano Pavarotti walked out on stage, and I almost had a heart attack because I love this guy. So that was just phenomenal. Never thought in my whole life that I would ever get to meet him. So never say never, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, impossible things can happen. So anyway, I kind of got off topic there. Sorry. And I'm having trouble talking. But the elevation for this Machu Picchu, which it's just an incredible place. I just can't even tell you the pictures I've seen and what I've read about it and its history, and I just really want to go there. But the elevation is 7,972 feet, and they estimate that it was abandoned around 1572. It was discovered in 1912, actually, which, when you think about it, it really wasn't that long ago. I mean, it seems like a long time ago, but, an archaeologically time, that's not a long time. Gosh, I got carried away on that, didn't I? But my fourth thing that I would like to do is I really would like to go to Scotland. I love the history of Scotland. They have the most amazing castles, and I know they do in England and Ireland too, but for some reason Scotland is really, I'm fascinated. And the last place and another place I'd like to go is New Zealand. That's also on my bucket list. New Zealand is so beautiful. And there's a cave that I would like to explore. You lower yourself down on ropes down into this like huge hole, and you go into this enormous cavern. And I guess it's just spectacular. So that's one place, excuse me, that I would really like to go. That's on my bucket list. That's maybe doable. We'll see. But I'm hoping. And the last thing on my bucket list is, on Machu Picchu. Let me back up. Machu Picchu, I got ahead of myself. I want to show you some pictures here of what it looks like. A couple of pictures in case that you don't know what that is out there. So here's a couple of pictures. Glad I took a break to show you those pictures, because I just had a coughing fit. My eyes are watery, that's why. And then I want to go to Scotland after Machu Picchu, then New Zealand. And for the last thing on my bucket list, I only have 6 things, is I want to hike a glacier in Alaska, and it's called the Spencer Glacier. And I just always wanted to hike on a glacier, because I just think that it's just cool. I just want to do it. And Spencer Glacier is in Alaska. And it's got ice caves, which I think are awesome, just phenomenal. And the ice is blue inside the ice caves. I mean, it's beautiful from the pictures. My daughter and her husband went to Alaska a couple of years ago, and they just think it's fantastic. And I wasn't able to go with them, but I would like to see the Spencer Glacier in Alaska. And I'd like to go into some of the glacier caves. And they also have kayaking that you can kayak right up close to the glacier. You don't want to get too close, but and then if you if you hear cracking, you pedal real fast and get out of there. But that's one place I'd like to go to, is hike the glacier and go in those caves and just to see it. And that's my last one. That's the last place I wanted to go. So I hope I didn't ramble on too long. I'm still having a little bit of a frog in my throat. Tell you what, this virus that I had lasted like 2.5 weeks. And most of the time I had completely not been able to talk. I'd lost my voice, coughing my head off. It was not pleasant. But I think I feel pretty good. It's just my throat's still a little bit scratchy, and you can probably tell that from listening to me. But that's my bucket list, and I'm sticking to it. And you guys have a great day, a good evening, wherever you are. And we'll talk to you again. And oh, I need to challenge somebody too. Okay, I think I am going to challenge Corkboard TV for you to tell me and everybody else what your items are on your bucket list. I know you've done a lot of traveling and been everywhere. So if you have anything left on your bucket list, we'd like for you to share it with us. So Corkboard TV, you're challenged. And the next person I would like to challenge is Exploring with Carl. He's in England. Heck of a nice guy. I just love this guy. Seriously, I do. I just love him. But you got to watch his channel. He's really very good. He does a lot of exploring in the UK. But Exploring with Carl, I want to challenge you to let us know what's on your bucket list. So it'll be fascinating to find out what everybody wants to do and what their bucket list items are. So, all right, Carl, you and Corkboard TV, I want to hear your bucket list. So you guys are challenged. So we'll talk to you guys later, and God bless you all, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.